What up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Off the Record. We love Off the Record here at the Smoking Tire. They are looking out for us day and night, wherever we go, driving throughout this great country. Off the Record is in our back pocket. If I get pulled over for a moving violation, you know it's some bull. And Off the Record is going to fight that all the way up to the Supreme Court if they have to, because I'm not pleading guilty. You hear? Off the Record has made so many alleged moving violations disappear for me that I owe them an incredible debt of gratitude. And you don't have to owe them a debt of anything. In fact, we're going to give you a discount. All you got to do is go to offtherecord.com/TST. If you get a moving violation of any kind, any size in America, don't plead guilty. Offtherecord.com/TST is where it's at. Get you 10% off all legal services. TST will fight that ticket. And boy, oh boy, do they have a great shot of winning. 10% off all legal services at Off the Record with offtherecord.com/TST. Do it. All right, everybody, on this episode of the podcast, I have a new color of the Notice Canyon. It is incredibly exciting. I got a shocking bill for the first part of my Lamborghini Countach assembly. We talk about how pretty the Aston Martin Valhalla looks, and Zach learned something about his own suspension. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's go.
Remember when hip-hop was adorable and it was just like, we come down to the show and we like to dance. Let's see you go. And then, everything evolves.
With respect to the fact that everything comes from somewhere.
Of course.
Fuck, I hate 80s couplet hip-hop.
Yeah.
I don't like listening to it. But I don't care how iconic it is.
It just wasn't our time. It was before us.
I bet a lot of people would say that about the kind of hip-hop I do like listening to.
I feel that way about early punk, the Ramones. I don't want to listen to them ever. I get it. They were important, sure. But it was just, it's too gentle for me.
Yeah. It's the same as, for me, like the pacing of movies that were made before about 1980.
Oh, yeah.
You know what when the editing was like, it was much slower. Everything was like way slowed down.
Taxi
and less,
Driver.
less, there was like less background filler noise. There was less like sort of background anything. Like, and I'm sure it's like that's directly what led to our shortened attention span today, but.
Well, as the technology allowed them to add more elements, then they added more elements and we were like,
But, people tell me, well, it's great. It was made in 1962 or whatever. And I'm like, oh boy,
The only time I went to Hollywood Forever Cemetery, for the movie thing. I went twice. Sarah took me to see Friday, which was great.
Yeah.
Love that movie to my core. But when I first moved here, I went with just some friends from work, and they were showing some James Dean film that had no cars and was like him at a fishing village trying to fuck some chick. I fell asleep. Sitting up, it was just, oh my, I took a phone call and left for a while. It was exactly what you described.
Yeah, you can't, your body and brain can't make it through the pacing.
Yeah. Long shots of seagulls, meaning duration of the shot of the seagull was quite lengthy.
Yeah, I mean, there were fewer shots held for much longer, but I'm not talking about, oneers. That's a different talent. It's just like.
Well, they do that now with slow-mo on Drive to Survive. It's all slow-mo because you get more content per shot.
Right.
And then you can just put someone's VO over it.
Yeah, I've only watched the first episode because I was traveling and I watch TV when I'm on the elliptical machine at home. So I'll probably watch episode 2 today. But I just, I got home pretty late last night. It was 21 hours to get home from Spain, which is a fucking long time. Even in as luxurious of circumstances that one could expect. They got you on that biznaz quiznaz. Air France, even their regional Europe flights suck. Those are the smallest, shittiest seats possible, smallest overhead bins possible. When you're traveling with a Pelican, your status is crucial when you're going in a fucking European flight, a regional. I guess they're not regional, they're international, but they're all like little Embraers.
Oh yeah, they're tiny planes.
And if you got to
get 40 minutes.
Yeah, if you got to get a backpack, sometimes they're not, man.
That's true. Sometimes they're like 2 hours.
Dude, this one was through Charles de Gaulle, So to Bilbao was an hour and 40 minutes from there. That's not bad. Bro, when I did the Porsche ones in Seville and I was going through Amsterdam, those regionals were 3.5 hours each way. They did not upgrade to an A320 for that. It was still that.
No, a lot of times the plane, it's either 2 seats on either side or 1 seat and 2 seats. I mean, they're pretty narrow.
But I've never been if it's 2 seats, even in business class, it's the same seats in the front. They just don't put somebody in the other one. That's how it works.
I didn't notice.
It's 2-2, but they only will sell one of them for business class. Or if it's an Airbus, they'll still leave it 3-3, but they won't sell the middle. That one sucks. I'd rather have 2-2 and they sell one for a long flight. It's still like mad small. Anyway, drove the Valhalla and can't talk about it for like 20 days till March 30th. I can't talk about it. I can talk about how it looks. If that's the only photo that's the only photo I put on Instagram because I'm good at Instagram. But it's Aston Martin's, mid-engine. I guess it depends, now it's time with sort of inflation. This car fits sort of in between the Ferrari Testarossa and the sort of the F80. Like it's like more expensive than a Revuelto, but less expensive than a Koenigsegg or a Pagani. And I can't talk about how it drives, but we can look at it, and I can talk about how it looks, and I can give you some facts and figures. It's cool. It's 1,064 horsepower, which is actually like kind of the same as the Corvette ZR1, but it has a tri-motor hybrid system with a 4-liter V8 twin turbo that's similar architecture to the AMG GTs from before. Remember the flat plane?
Yeah.
Now it's in the back, obviously, hot V, mated to a 6 kilowatt hour battery pack, the two E motors in the front, and then a motor generator in the gearbox. Look at it. It actually, I think, okay. So I think in terms of how it looks, because we can talk about that, the chief design engineer of this car did 720S, which
makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense, right? And also that on itself says a lot of promising things because the 7 Series McLaren is like the best supercar of all time, dynamically speaking. And so the rear half of the car, sort of at the B pillar and back, is very 720S looking, especially sort of from the side. The front to me looks like somewhere between Koenigsegg. That bit right behind the wheel is very Koenigsegg to me.
Yeah.
And the door is very Koenigsegg to me. Although the door opens as a butterfly, it doesn't have Koenigsegg's,
This almost looks, the very front looks like 918 a little bit to me.
Somewhere to me, yeah, between 918 and AMG 1, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe, yeah.
They didn't really like when I said AMG 1. They're like, you mean like Valkyrie? And I was like, there's a little AMG. The headlights to me look like AMG 1 headlights. But in my opinion, it is very pretty. It in person is a very pretty car. I saw it in the green, like the typical, like the Aston Martin racing green. Fucking great. Jethro was driving a blue one that was really nice, like an electric blue. I drove a white one, which looked amazing in person. Although I had to take the thumbnail car with the green one, so the center car is going to have the green one. Yeah, obviously. Sure. And I told them, I had to explain to them that as pretty as this white car is, they should not have white press cars. Nobody wants a white press car.
No.
I said it's a great color though. It's really deep, pearl. They had one there that was the Aston Racing Green, but with a tan interior.
Ooh.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now I'm in.
That's class.
Now I'm on board. So it's a very anything I say about this car is for like 1,500 people. That's the sad truth. Like most people, I'm never going to drive one again. I was pretty much told that. Like there aren't going to be press cars after this. So like I'm never going to drive one again. And most people are not going to be able to afford it. It's a 7-figure car.
Were any of the facts and figures or technology things that you think will trickle down into other Astons that might be slightly more approachable to people?
Well, I mean, yes. So this is the car's completely made of carbon. You know, it's aluminum front and rear subframes, but the carbon is made by Aston's in-house carbon manufacturing thing, and it's like a machine-made carbon tub, which is apparently new and novel, and it creates far more consistency from car to car. I've never had enough experience. I've never been able to drive 7 McLarens back to back to back to back. I assume the guy from the 720 program learned some lessons and said, what if we could make carbon tubs more consistently, you know, and then they went down that road. So I only really drove the one car. I didn't drive 4 different cars. So I couldn't tell you. And David Tuig said to us a million times that there's a whole bunch of different small things that could be so different from one car to another.
Right.
And they could drive slightly different as a result of that. But the point is their carbon manufacturing, which is, you know, paired with their Formula One team's experience and engineers, creates more consistent manufacturing of this car.
Well, and if it's all done by machines, I wonder if they can then, you know, make these tubs for cheaper, and they'll basically try to crack into McLaren's market. Yeah. Instead of, you know, being known for front engine cars basically across their entire model line, they could go, hey, let's have a $300,000, whatever they'd want to call it, something that starts with a V.
What does it have that's, I mean, no, I'm trying to think, what can I talk about without having to talk about how the thing changes how it drives, you know what I mean? That's actually kind of tough.
Yeah.
I think, man, you know, I'm going to
a lot of pleading the fifth.
No, I'm just going to I'm going to end up digging myself a goddamn hole if I do this. So I'll move on, but it is very pretty. And, you know, as always, Spain, I'll tell you what, as a wine destination, this was where you drink Rioja. This was in Rioja, the Navarra circuit. Really cool track, actually. Great track for testing. Lots of wide open space to make the car move around safely. And I got to hang out with Jethro for 2 days, which was great. It was a very heavy seat time experience. Heavy seat time. Cool. I drove the car for like 7 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. I drove the car like a lot. And so there's when we can talk about it, it will be quite thorough. And as always, when I make videos on a press launch, even though I drove the car a lot, like there's still stuff you just like think of later. Like the video is cool. The video will be cool. I got a lot of coverage. I got a road drive. I got a walk around. Because the date says you got to do the walk around. So, but there are a lot of details to point out in the walk around. And we've got, you know, proper track driving as well. So like, it'll be a cool video, but even still on the flight home, it's like, damn, I could have put it into this context. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's hard when you're by yourself and doing videos, like you got to get it all out like then.
It's that George Costanza when he's, you know, he didn't think of the comeback and then he's like, that's what I should have said. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah. It happens with every single video we ever make. That's why you should watch the video and good. Well, VO, yes, but also that's why you should also listen to the podcast. Because a lot of times the podcast, we have time to like download and process and like put it into a greater context. Whereas you can't do it because you're thinking about like, you know, are the 5 cameras speeding? Like, does this driving look cool? Does this like, did I get this thing? Like, how much time do I have left? You know, has the radio gone off? Like just stuff that's like adds to the sort of pressure of trying to do a video, you know, in essentially real time, you know. you're trying to capture it as you yourself are doing it for the very first time, Mike.
Folks, taking a quick break because support is coming in today from DeleteMe. DeleteMe makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Because data brokers make a profit off of your data. Your data is a commodity, and anyone on the web can buy your private details, which can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and even harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with DeleteMe. I have an active online presence, obviously, and so I really care about some of this stuff not being out there. So I used DeleteMe, right? I signed up for it. And I put in a whole bunch of information. It did take me a few minutes to put in this info, but I put in a bunch of information about myself, my wife, my parents, my sister, my friends, not my friends, other relatives, places I used to live, places I used to work, phone numbers I maybe used to have, email addresses, etc. And then DeleteMe went to work, right? In the background, don't even know what they're doing over there, and they come back a few days later with this big, long report of thousands of instances of my personal data online. And why is it all out there? Because I shop online like everybody else. A couple of clicks, and they start to go to work deleting it. And then a month later, another report, and then another report. And this happens as long as I keep my account active, right? And then you'll see that number of instances go way down and then stay there. And then you see your spam emails that go down, your fake phone calls and texts, they go down a little bit. I definitely get less fake scam phone calls than my wife, who did not use DeleteMe, for sure. And you can do it too. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe now at a special discount for our listeners. You can get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/tire and use promo code TIRE at checkout. That's the only way to get 20% off, is to go to joindeleteme.com/tire and enter code TIRE at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/tire, code TIRE. Support is also coming in today from Truewerk. You see, winter job sites don't mess around. Freezing mornings, wet conditions, and wind that cuts right through cheap gear. You need workwear that performs well when it's brutal out there, and Truewerk builds performance workwear like it matters, because it does. You know where Truewerk also has good stuff? For skiing. I wore my Truewerk hoodie underneath my shell skiing this last couple days. It was great. Moisture wicking, didn't get sweaty, but kept that heat in the morning. I really liked that Truewerk hoodie they sent me. And Zach, who you could see on his Instagram wearing that Truewerk jacket at the ice race. He was running around filming everything, and it was in the 20s, 30s out there, and he was ready to go all day. Founded by a trade professional who was done with soaking wet, heavy gear slowing him down, Truewerk set out to make workwear that keeps pros comfortable, capable, and ready for whatever the day throws at them. Designed to be moisture wicking and wind resistant, using insulated fabrics that keep you comfortable and mobile all day, even in the harshest winter conditions. Truewerk is it. Every piece is tested on real job sites with trade pros before it goes to market. So when winter hits hard, you're ready to work and not fighting your gear. The stuff is comfy, it keeps you dry, keeps you warm, and it helps you move. I love it. Plus the zip pockets in the hoodie keep my stuff from falling out when I'm running around, right? So don't let cheap gear slow you down this winter. Upgrade your day with workwear built like it matters. Get 15% off your first order at truewerk.com, code TIRE. That's TRUEWERK.com, code TIRE. And now, back to the show. I'll talk about Valhalla wrongly if we keep going. So
Right.
But Rioja, if you want to talk about a good combination of very beautiful classic villages, incredibly interesting modernist architecture, great tasting wine that doesn't cost very much. Rioja is not an expensive, it can be, but really doesn't have to be. The shit we were drinking, like at dinner, I was taking pictures of it in like Vivino to remember it later. Bro, this shit's like $26 a bottle. Delicious.
Nice.
Absolutely. From the source and delicious. I almost tried to get a box shipped home, but it was expensive to ship, and it is impossible to buy it in America. So I'll just do that.
Okay. How much is it in America?
$26.
Okay, so that's not.
It was like, yeah,
I just want to make sure that
like,
wasn't local price.
No, the local pricing was also very cheap. It was not expensive at all to drink it there, but the shipping was more than the wine. Literally, it costs more to ship a case than to buy a case. So I'll just buy it here. Mm-hmm. But as a sort of a cool gearhead destination, it's like 120 kilometers from San Sebastian. So you could do San Sebastian, hit the roads, track day at Navarra, do some wine tasting. You could have a fucking grand old time in that area.
I mean, Thaddeus has been selling us on fleeing to Spain for 10 years.
Well, so I learned, like, I don't know, me, Jethro, and this dude Jake from Top Gear.
State Farm? Oh.
Yeah. I couldn't tell because they both go back and forth. I forgot to ask. One of them was writing for Top Gear. One of them was doing Evo. But because I couldn't tell.
Both,
yeah, I couldn't
right?
tell who was doing it for what. So it was just the three of us. So like that hotel that I posted, the Frank Gary's one, like that's not the press launch hotel. The press launch hotel is in San Sebastian.
Oh.
And they have entirely different program. Like they have all this amazing curated like food. Like we ate at the hotel restaurant, which was still like great. Like it was, I was fabulous at this really cool Frank Gehry winery hotel. But they're like in San Sebastian at a Nobu getting like super Michelin dined. And they had like an omakase table set up at the track. No chef for us. And they were like, oh, we thought you three would like just rather have more track time. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are angel.
Oh, so you were on like a
pre-wave for video, for extra time for video, because they brought like film crews. They had like big, they had a whole thing. So, and they were like, yeah, we just thought like that you would rather have, and I was like, you are
correct.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Every bit of that is correct. So they have a whole other thing, but they're going to be like dined. They have like a 3 Michelin star chef cooking for them at the racetrack.
I think they did that for Vantage. Like,
did they?
They had a guy and he was smoking meat with a real fire, and the lunch was delicious, but running around and filming the car and stuff.
Yeah,
you like run over, eat for 10 minutes, just like shove things in my face, and then run back out and get beauty shots.
If you're a writer, hell yeah. Luxury living.
I give them shit all the time only because I'm jealous. Because they just like drive and they're like, their hands are crossed. They're like, what did you think? And my hands are like charging, tightening, switching batteries, like looking at a script, and they're just like, But some have to crank out their article like on the way home.
Sure.
But the day is a little more leisurely.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's that's very much my experience as well. It's like, running around and getting beauty shots.
What was I going to ask? Oh, someone said maybe Aston's spending too much money on their road cars, and that's why their F1 cars having problems. Have you seen that story?
I saw that on the well, dude. So on the flight there, I saw a news story that was like Aston lays off like 200 people. And then on the way home, I read the story of like Aston's race cars fucking up. And I was like, oh man, like I feel really bad for them. And like, here's, a bunch of important people from Aston, including, Merrick Reichman, who designed this car and the modern Vanquish and a bunch of the current Astons. He's their head designer. Lovely man. Very interesting. Bunch of their head PR people. And, we're all talking about the Valhalla, because we're excited about that. But no one's like, so, how's business?
They're like, well, we're hoping, because they'll just say, we hope that this, helps our bottom line or something.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for the whatever it is, 21, 22 days for I can actually tell you how it drives, because there's a lot to talk about, a lot to cover.
We'll definitely talk about that. I guess their Honda engine mounts are causing so much vibration in the race car that it's unsafe to drive beyond 20 laps.
Dude, like, aren't S2000 owners be like, dude, we've been telling you this shit.
SL43 AMG owners, this is what you could experience.
Yeah. That's a bummer. I'm sure someone will sort that out. Can I show you something cool?
Sure.
Wes from Notice dropped off.
Hey, someone asked about this today.
The Frozen Berry Canyon prototype in the flesh is here. It has It has gilt hands. It has gilt, which means gold, gilt hands, and indices. And they worked. They had to make. You have no idea how many prototype dials they had to make. This is such a difficult, because if we weren't going to do it, if it wasn't like exact.
Yeah.
And the key to it being exact is to go from a very muted mauve color in dim light to a very smoothie-like color in bright sun.
This is very
just like the car.
Sparkly protein shake smoothie.
Right.
Yeah.
So because it's underneath a light right now.
Right.
But if you bring it into the shade, it should get much more muted.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's what the actual car does. And so it needs to do the thing the actual car does. And actually, I think it does. So I'm really excited about it. I think it looks rad. I'm going to wear this on vacation, Zach. I think I'm going to.
Yeah, it's waterproof and everything, right?
Oh yeah. And look, and also this is the only one. This is the only one of the entire Canyon range that comes with the all new Notice deployant clasp. They've redesigned their clasp, and it actually has a much smoother wrist feel. That just kind of the portion that touches the bottom of your wrist has a nice smoothness to it, and they've redone something with the micro adjust. I don't know exactly what, but
cool.
It's not. I'd be wearing it right now, but it just came, and so I have to take like a couple links out of it.
It redlines at 3, which is a little low for a Porsche.
Diesel. It's a diesel.
It's a diesel Porsche, yeah.
That's funny.
Cool.
Oh, I haven't thought about that. If I should just have them extend the red line
To 9.
Well, my car goes to 82.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say GT3s go to 9, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good note.
Do they always have it at 3? Is that
all
like
of them
just
go
a
to-
standard thing?
All of them went to 3.
Watches?
Yeah, all of them went to 3.
Oh, all the other notices did?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think this is fucking super,
It looks
super
really good.
rad.
It's
It looks
very
really
subtle.
fun. It's not going to be for everybody, obviously. The regular cars for everybody. But a few people have been like, man, can you come out with one that I can get for my girl? This is it. And if you're the kind of guy who can fucking rock a pink item with confidence, you're going to be all over this. This is great. So super excited. I will have an on-sale date soon, unless maybe we move the red line, and I don't know what it would take to do that. If I can do that without having to require starting all over, that would be fun, actually. That's a good note. But it's going to be...
I'm a watch designer, no big deal.
Well, it's the last one. I mean, we got to make it more interesting. And then we're going to move on to that all-new design, right?
Well, I think, and if you move to like 82, or like 820, like that would be pretty cool, because then it also helps the marketing material, and it's attached to the red line of the car, and blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Yeah. As a consultant, that'll be $10,000.
Speaking of the pink car, I got the Blackstone report back. Ooh. Just to be, because I'm overly cautious about the engine. Not that I'm worried about it, but like, you want to know, you got a fucking big money engine, and
get your boss checked.
Prevented, what is it? $1 of prevention is fucking worth
a pound of cure.
Worth a pound of cure, whatever it is.
Ounce of prevention is pound of cure.
So anyway, especially when the guy who built it's 3,000 miles away, right? So every time I get an oil change, which is every 2,500 miles for me now, I do get the Blackstone test. The good news is, absolutely motherfucking ace.
Nice.
In fact, it's lower than a lot of the universal averages across the board. And the summary says...
Sorry, lower. What is lower?
All of these things, these metals that they look for in the oil sample, and just stuff that you really, and here we have metals, and here we have like fuel, coolant, water, blah, 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 and all kinds of shit you don't want in your oil. So it basically says... the universal averages show typical wear levels for Porsche 4-liter engines. The wear metals are within normal range of those averages. Given this is a built 4.5, the engine may not always wear like the averages. In that case, trends over known in similar intervals will best help gauge how the engine is faring. As it stands, the viscosity measured in the right range for 0W40. There's no sign of fuel, coolant, or excess dirt contamination. Insolubles are low thanks to good oil filtration. We
Great.
good.
Yeah, great. I want to look at this.
No problem. So there's a very, very small to, whatever it says the acceptable threshold is for basically anything, it's like well below that. So that's good. I service this car. I mean, if you had a standard car, you would probably not service it as much as I have. But, I service it. For me, that 2,500 miles is once a year. So it's more about, every February it goes to BBI and then we get the sample. So
Wait, one of these you're above the universal average, I think. Not that I'm always looking for problems. But
there was one where I was
boron.
Yeah, there was one where I was over, but I think boron was slightly over.
I feel like I'm reading a car's cholesterol. It's like Brian Johnson's blood.
Literally, that's like it is like you're reading your cholesterol. Yeah, I don't know what. It's not over like that much. It's a little bit.
This is the good fat. So it's
I don't know.
Boron's the good fat. It's actually okay.
There was something. There was one or two that were over in the break-in oil, but demand said that was normal because those are the materials of the cylinder liners that they're using now, and some of it is like supposed to come off in the break-in oil. And they said as long as like the test number 2 and test number 3 show it drastically reducing to like basically 0, then it's fine.
I think your car has osteoporosis though, because calcium is low.
Yeah.
I've never looked at one of these. Like, there's so many different things that they test for, which is cool.
I have them. I have like 3. I guess this would be my 4th, maybe, since I've had the car. But it's good to have. I think. The test is $45.
Yeah, it's a great ounce of prevention.
Yeah, if you're already doing an oil change, like just fucking do that. Like, this is just the baseline. You don't. They have a. If you go to their website. They have so many tests. I couldn't possibly tell you what any of them do. But this is just the standard baseline cheap test, and it tells you a lot.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. And you get a summary from an analyst as well, not just like raw numbers. So
it's really good value.
Speaking of raw numbers, you don't have to read it out loud, but take a look at the first. This is the first bill for the Countach.
Right. So you sent me this, but I had no comparison.
Yeah.
For like,
it says
your labor costs.
It says the breakdown on the second page. It says
I meant comparison to previous work.
Oh yeah.
So this is the estimate to. I won't say the numbers, but
listen. Donnie's ego was his downfall, but also it benefited me in some ways because he liked being on camera. He liked being on camera, and so he undercharged me.
Sure.
Yeah.
You brought him business.
Yeah.
We have plenty of partnerships that have worked out that way.
Yeah.
Like I get a deal from Avis Autosport. Shout out to them sometimes because I keep saying that, and they see my face and they go, "We'll tap some keys."
Yeah.
But what's amazing about this is I'm not going to say the number of the bill, but the number of line items is quite small.
It's not many things.
It's not many things.
It's
not many hours either.
Oh, that's also true.
And yet to the price, quite strong.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive, and it doesn't seem on the bill like it's that much progress for that much money.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Compared to where I was before.
Because for people listening, I'm holding a 2-page document.
Yeah.
And the front page is a breakdown. It's got someone's address and all that stuff. So when you flip the page to the itemized list of to-dos.
Yeah. So just read.
This could be on a business card.
The list is short.
So I'm going to read the things that are to be done. People in the comments, you should write, guess what you think this will cost. Received car, organized parts. Disassemble, clean, and rebuild right rear wheel hub. Organize and pack shocks, ship to be rebuilt. Organize suspension parts. Pre-install gas tanks and organize parts for final install. Disassemble, clean, and rebuild left rear wheel hub. End.
Yeah. So it doesn't seem like much when you say that, but a lot is the sentence. Let me just say that the sentence. Organize and inventory parts. Organize suspension parts for final install. Like, he received a disassembled car of unknown
For sure.
and had
beans.
to inventory everything was there. You know what I mean? So like but it's a big bill. The question is really like, because you're putting back together a car that you know how to put back together and that is mostly there. The engine, gearbox, and everything are complete, ready to go in. And in theory, all the suspension and stuff is there. And although the shocks had to be sent out and the wheel hubs had to be cleaned, I knew that actually. Actually, even more than that, I'm surprised the shocks were there. I didn't know they were there at all. So I was fully prepared for the shocks to be missing and have to buy new shocks. So I'm glad I don't. Anyway, I don't envy the person that has to go, what's here, to an entire disassembled car. So like, whatever that expertise costs, is not, it's paid out in brain power. It's not paid out in hours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They know they can look at the whole floor of parts and go, we're missing this.
This is the guy who turns the screw half a fucking turn and charges $5,000, and they go, oh, and he goes, I had to learn 30 years to figure out which screw to turn halfway.
Right.
That's where we're at with this bill.
It's 246 toothpicks. It's they just drop the parts and they go, you're missing these things.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. And so I'm hoping that once we pivot to what the fuck is here to parts just go together onto the car, that maybe it'll be less painful.
More efficient.
Maybe. Like, the question is, am I going to get 4 of these bills? Am I going to get 12 of these bills? What percentage of work would you say that is?
From where we are to car completed
where we
running.
are to a car.
What's the status bar?
Like, is that 5%? Is it 10? Is it 20? I do need, because I see what's been done. That is in a sense, that is status.
If that was 5%.
If that's 5%, I'm
20.
so fucked. I'm so fucked if that's 5%.
Yeah.
If it's, my guess is, it's 15%.
Okay.
Because they're putting together new parts.
Yeah.
Everything they're putting together is new. Everything.
Build the wheel hub.
Other than rebuilding a wheel hub.
Everything that's going on is a new part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have to put together a half rebuilt car. You know what I mean? They're putting together all new shit. I hope. But I need, if it's, yeah.
So far, the guesses in chat have ranged from $1,500 to $27,000 for what we just listed.
Yeah.
So everybody's all over the place.
But if you listen to this show and you think I'm shook by a $1,500 bill for a Lamborghini, no. Come on, guys. You know what it takes a.
You'd also be more panicked if it was 27.
Oh, if that was $27,000, we'd have a fucking, that's past panic. I'd have an actual problem. I'd be like, oh shit, I got to sell something.
Yeah.
This isn't that, but
But if it's 5%.
if that's 5%, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping not.
Expertise costs money. It's a bummer.
It does.
Yeah. It's the knowledge.
And also Franco's European Sports Cars is a very small shop. There are only 4 indoor workspaces there, period.
Wow.
So it's not Donnie's place is in the middle of nowhere, but it's big. Donnie could have 25 cars inside and he could work on one at a time and the other one and the rest could just be there. This dude, if your car's inside, it's getting attention.
Nice.
It's shit's going. He wants this car done and next. So I don't anticipate much dawdling. Which is
he doesn't have a bunch of cars parked waiting to go.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a few cars outside, but the place is very small. He can only have 4 cars inside being worked on.
I feel like that's a good way as a shop to keep things moving, because if you have too much storage area, you can just take in too many clients, but then you have this to-do list gets too big.
Yeah.
Have they found any missing parts yet?
They said, I didn't speak to Damien yet. I spoke to his, the person who does his billing just to say, okay, received, and I'll send in a check. But But I said, was there anything missing? And she said there were a couple things that were missing, but it wasn't anything that we had to call you over. So I assume we're talking about bolts or little fucking bullshit and not, a fucking the intake manifold,
right.
or something. Obviously the intake manifold's on the engine, but you know what I'm saying? Like nothing major yet. So anyway.
Well, Thaddeus helped me mend something on my car, sort of mend.
What happened?
I mean, nothing actually broke, but I picked him up from here last night before we were going to go to dinner, and we basically have the same suspension setup, and he and I drive down this this road to Jefferson, which is like a very bumpy section of this area, and he says, "You don't have to live like this," and I go, "What?" And he's been telling me for months to adjust my rebound and compression, because he did it on his car and it transformed it, and he goes, "After dinner, we're going to fix this." And so after dinner, we were in my garage and we put the car in little blocks and we just click the things. And we went for a drive on the same road and I go, this is better. So nice. I've had this adjustment. I've just been stupid and stubborn and shy about it.
So funny.
But he's like, I think we can do more.
Yeah.
And Thad loves to research shit and go real deep on things. So he's sending me rally suspension specs and calculators and things, but this was just let's start in first grade for you, Zach, and just click, 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 click.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it is better.
So I saw Jethro in Spain, and he was like, are you getting one of those trailers from Brian James? I said, I are. He's like, is it one of the aerodynamic ones? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, in England, we tow those with a Golf estate. He's like, they're literally meant for being towed by small cars.
Yeah, we talked about this.
They have smaller wheels and shit and smaller everything, intending to be on a small SUV or a crossover or something. He was like, I can't believe anyone thinks you need a Super Duty for one.
But did you tell him give him the mountain question?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, and he's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
So crossover.
Yeah. No, fucking Cayenne.
Cayenne.
Yeah. But I thought it was funny that he was like, "Are you fucking nuts?" He's like, "Why?" Not that we were considering, but he's like, "Why would anyone think that for one of those you would need a huge truck? That's crazy."
But you know what? Be careful asking that question because you'll get all the responses
No, I don't
about why.
I'm tired of hearing about it. I don't care. I don't care. Do you want to talk about the return of the
let's
Leno's
do that,
law?
and then we'll go to
we have
questions.
a few of them. Leno's law is back. It's been resurrected. But it'll probably still be called fucking Leno's law. But according to Haggerty, California SB 1392 brings back Leno's law and improves. But when Zach said this morning, hey, did you hear that Leno's law is back on the table? I said, yeah, but I bet they made it shittier. Because that's how things work.
Usually go here.
That's how things usually go.
Yeah.
Someone compromised to make it shittier. But actually, it seems like the new version is actually better. So the old bill required you to effectively be a car collector
and prove it,
which is
weird.
Yeah, prove that you are insuring this thing as a collector vehicle, that you have this, that you are a car collector and that it's been assigned a special historical vehicle plate, which are usually assigned only to special vehicles, right? The new one, apparently it changes the definition of collector vehicle. So it actually says, it reduces it to a sort of a binary, is it your daily driver car or not? And then what was the other thing? And then, so you don't need it to get the historic plate anymore, right? So you really, and California defines a collector vehicle as, quote, one owned by a collector, used primarily in shows, parades, charitable functions, historical exhibitions, and not used primarily for transportation. The new one deletes the term, quote, by a collector, removing the need for the owner of an older car to prove that they were a collector. Basically, you don't have to be a collector. You just have to have a car that's not your daily and is of the age that this law intends to exempt you from smog, right? So you're allowed to use the car as a car.
Right.
It's just not your daily, which is essentially the same requirement you would need to get like Hagerty or any other company's agreed value insurance.
Yeah. And it also adds the phrase, it gets rid of the phrase for display, maintenance, and preservation.
Right.
So before, kind of going with that collector thing, you were only allowed to drive the car around if it was going to a show on display, going to maintenance, or like driving it for the car's preservation, meaning like getting the oil going. Well, now they go, well, you can drive the car around. You just can't drive it every day.
Yeah.
So this seems really good.
A rare bit of common sense.
Yeah,
so,
wild.
So I mean, look, I was supporting it before because, better than nothing. But now I support it more. And I mean, in reality, it would be, I do think it would be fine if they just fucking exempted if it was a mileage requirement or they had exemptions. They shouldn't have to do the not your daily driver thing. I think if you want a daily car, if you want to keep a car running of that age that's in good condition and drive it every day, you should. That's me. You should be able to. But
with a mileage requirement, then
maybe. But if you have a car that's of 1992 and it's very difficult to get to pass, if I wanted to daily drive my Ferrari 328, for instance, I think I should have been able to and not have a smog requirement.
I think that's a slippery slope, though, because you could have, I don't know, pickup trucks. You can have just a lot of cars from 92 that belch out a lot of emission stuff.
Yeah.
And if there's no mileage requirement, people go, well, I drive it 30 miles a day. You might drive 1 mile a day for your daily, but someone drives 30 and, now it just opens the door.
I just think there's not a lot of cars of that age really being daily. It's a very small percentage of actual cars.
I think of a certain class of car, that's true. But I think if you look out on the highway, there's older cars all over the place from the 90s, especially because they're fairly reliable.
Yeah, but it's not really. Usually, if you get to the 90s, they'll pass smog. It's like stuff in the 80s that like really is iffy on smog.
Or performance cars, really.
And it's like I also wonder about the cost of enforcing that versus blah blah blah. Granted, my default is cleaner air, right? That is my default, even at my own expense. But like, I don't know. I do think a either mileage related or somehow tax offset smog exemption for cars of that era that are just blanket cars, it would be okay. But like, sure, I'll take whatever.
I think if they did mileage limit like $2,000 a year.
Yeah.
Average average driver goes 12,000 miles a year. So you go, all right, you can drive your Ferrari 2,000 miles per year.
Yeah, and it would be easy enough to like send in photo of the odometer, or
you'd have to just get it verified at an authorized place every year. So
like instead of you go to the smog station, but like instead of getting smog, they just verify your odometer statement sticker and you go about your fucking day.
Yeah,
like that's okay. You pay whatever it costs to get a smog, you pay that, but you just get a verification of your thing.
That would be very simple.
That would be simple.
Yeah.
Because that's connected to the DMV system already. If you get smog, like you don't have to do anything; it just goes to the DMV. So like they could have another tab.
Yeah, and just
Great. Or I don't know, because them computers are kind of old looking.
They are, but I think they're all connected. So
of course,
it works.
yeah. No, there could be a way to do this. Let's go to the people. Patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. That's where you ask us questions for the show, watch the live stream, get the show before everybody else, get a show without ads, get extra show each month, and also get access to our specialty collabs and stuff, such as this right here, Pink Watch, which is going to go up to Patreon first. We're only doing 100 of them, and my guess is it will not make it out of the Patreon.
Probably.
So if you want to get one, you should probably sign up for the Patreon. Same as last time, if you have all 5 of the other ones already, and there's I think 11 of them, and they want the 6th, you can email me and I will add you to the guaranteed list. If you've bought all 5, you absolutely will get an allocation for number 6. That's fucking hard. People send me the photo of their box, the rainbow. It's very nice.
I think our patron he's looking for number 32 orange was able to find that swap on Patreon, and they did an exchange. It's very cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Right. Send Preludes. Oh, got a new job and is moving to southern Germany. Wow. Congratulations. In your opinion, would you rather experience the Alps by driving through them in an economy car going the speed limit, or use public transportation and be able to focus on the scenery?
I'd rather drive my own car. Sitting in the back of anything, and I mean like second row or behind, I'll get sick. Like I will get car sick. And on a bus or something, that many twists, I'd rather just drive, stop, take pictures.
Asterisk. Alpine trains.
Oh, yeah.
Alpine trains are fucking dope. Like... there's so many good Alpine trains. Like, driving the Alps in your own car, even if it's a sucky economy car, is still amazing. It's still awesome. But then like drive to somewhere in Switzerland and take a train through the Alps. Like that's the shit. So do both.
Yes, agree.
Congratulations though. Southern Germany is fucking Munich, Oktoberfest, love it. Gran Turismo License to Hill driver's test. With 1,000 horsepower deemed useless for the streets, what is a wattage number for stereo systems that make it too powerful? It's not even that high.
I feel like... Well, doesn't the Range Rover, like new ones, they come with like a 1900 watt stereo, and it sounds awesome. Yeah, it's got 19 speakers.
It's got so many speakers. It's got so much power. But like, remember when we talked about the car stereo guy that had won all the Academy Awards for sound design and had designed the best sounding car stereo I've ever heard and had 6 speakers.
Yep.
And we introduced him to Scott at BMW, who won the Notice Canyon, the teal in the blood donation thing, the Be the Match thing. And he works for BMW, and man, did this guy school us on the customer wants all those speakers. The customer wants all that wattage. The customer doesn't really know what amazing sound is. They kind of have to be told. Only certain special audiophiles could really tell. And there's no money in including a value for money car stereo. Like ever. There's
no money in less is better. That's the thing. If you say my car has 4 speakers only, 6 speakers, but it's done by Academy Award winning blah, blah, blah. There are so many plebs out there who go, I have 19. And you guys still have the same house in the same fancy neighborhood, whatever, and 19 speaker guy. Most people are going to think he has more stuff and has the better thing. And that sucks.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I just remember I have to write something down. So sorry. Pause because...
It's almost like the opposite of you could have, a paint. I guess art's so subjective. I was gonna say you could have, a painting by a famous artist, but the painting could look very simple, like one color. It's like a square.
Yeah, like a Rothko. And Rothko is just like a color, one.
But it's worth $80 million or something like that. And then you could have a great portrait that was 400. Yeah.
This is a.
Yeah, it's the opposite. So stereos are in a unique world.
Yeah. Carbon monocoque and ball torture.
So
it should be carbon monocoque and mono ball torch, right?
I wonder if there's a character limit.
Oh, maybe. Every Brooklyn cool guy I talk to is starting to show interest in cars. 2 weird ones they all love are the El Camino and Diesel 123 Mercedes. Predictions for the urban gentrifier statement cars in the coming years. TLDR, what are the American Spirit cigarettes of cars?
Yeah, what's the PBR of cars?
I mean, I don't think the El Camino or 123 is being shown love by the Brooklyn hipster class is a new thing at all. I know multiple like young, cool, interesting, artsy people that like El Caminos and diesel Mercedes. I don't think that's like a new thing.
I think the diesel Mercedes was first. I think that was after they got After Volvos,
It was
basically went
Volvo
up in price.
wagons.
Then the diesels showed up.
Diesel Mercedes.
I think Lady Gaga bought an El Camino like during her eBay car buying
did.
phase. That probably helped a little bit. Look,
She did. She also had a diesel
but
Mercedes. She had a CD, a coupe. Those are dope.
Those are
actually.
cool.
They're kind of cool. But like, yeah, I mean, what are urban gentrifier statement cars? That's pretty funny. What are they going to be driving in Brooklyn next? Previas?
Maybe. Chrysler Voyager, the early ones.
Oh, wow.
you go with that.
You're hard as fuck.
Remember
if you're
Normcore?
rolling.
I don't know if that's still a thing, but that's what that car
I
is.
just saw some article in Esquire today that was like JFK core is hot for.
What does that?
But that's not. By the way, that's not JFK president.
Oh.
It's JFK Jr.'s style because I guess some movie just came out about his.
Oh, I've seen the trailer for that.
Yeah, whatever. Bless you.
I don't know what his style is.
Speaking of movies, on the plane home from Spain, I watched the Running Man, the new Running Man with Glenn Powell. Did you see it?
No.
Not bad. I didn't love the ending, but overall a great way to spend 2 hours on a plane. The movie Cars. The cars they use in the film are worth mentioning because they're fucking hilarious. Almost every car in the movie is either a C4 Corvette or an Aston Martin Lagonda.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. They must have built about a dozen Aston Martin Lagondas for this movie. But it was a very... I don't know how nobody, like, brought this up to me before. There's a bunch of, like, there's a couple of 80s shit boxes. There's a very clear Alpine placement. This Alpine is in there. I think they put that in there because A, they paid for it, but B, they wanted a car that was like a modern car that a normal person would drive. But they wanted, but not a car or a brand that most Americans would recognize.
So is this an IROC, but with
That's an
different
IROC,
headlights?
but with like a weird. They basically Back to the
Caprice?
Future 2'd a bunch of like IROCs, Corvettes, and like if you think about what the cars look like in Back to the Future 2, how it was just like 80s-ish
Yeah.
cars with cladding and shit. They pretty much like did that.
Wrangler.
Though the hunters drove like SUVs and stuff, and and everyone else drove like these sort of like fictionalized version of like 80s cars. But dude, there's in the city where the sort of wealthier people live, it's like all Aston Martin Lagondas, and I was like, that's a fun detail actually.
How come?
Why aren't they showing?
Hang on. First of all, I didn't know this website existed, but it's Internet Movie Car Database.
Oh yeah,
which is awesome.
you never seen it before?
No.
Oh yeah, that is a thing.
Here we go.
Where's the Aston Martin Lagondas? There's so many of them. Second top
you go.
left. Yeah, top left maybe? Yeah, there's one. Okay, finally. There's finally one.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they put like a Charger taillight on it.
Yeah, so in
Cool.
the areas of the city that are like a little wealthier, there's like these Aston Martin Lagondas rolling around.
All right, maybe I'll watch that on the flight to Miami.
Yeah, this is a good plane movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not like a huge Glenn Howell fan, but I'll
I'm
watch
not
the movie,
either.
you know?
It's his face angers me for some reason. You know what I mean? Not as much as I'll tell you whose face.
He's like Aaron Eckhart, but without the acting.
Yeah, you know who else's face angers me? On the way to Spain, I watched fucking the Nuremberg. Is it called Nuremberg? I believe it's the one.
Did you just watch the trials for fun?
It's the one with Russell Crowe about the Nuremberg trials.
It's called Nuremberg.
Yeah, okay. Rami Malek is in it. His facial expressions really bother me.
Oh, he's a good
He does
actor,
weird.
though.
He does these weird things with his mouth.
I want. Was that his character, or was that just what
Well,
he
the problem
does?
is he's playing a person that is a real person in history, but it's not a famous person. It's not. It's just a person from history that.
Got it.
So like maybe he fucking studied this person, and that's exactly how this person talked. But like I've never seen or heard of this person before. So
I get you.
If he didn't need to do that to play the. It's not like playing Stephen Hawking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who the fuck this guy.
He's
played.
good, man. He was in this movie I watched, The Amateur, with Lawrence Fishburne, I think. It's like a Jason Bourne type thing, but Rami Malek's such a good actor, it definitely elevated it.
I know he's a good actor, but his face bothers me. I also added to the TST reading list now. Great book, Non-Politics. I Regret Almost Everything by Keith McNally. He's the dude. He's a restaurateur that owns like Balthazar, Pastis, like crushes it in the New York restaurant scene, but had a stroke, tried to commit suicide, had like 3 divorces, fucked up relationships with his kids, like, and writes about it in an incredibly honest and funny and sad and interesting way. And I read the entire, like,
What was it called?
I Regret Almost Everything by Keith McNally. Read it in one flight. I fucking carried this thing all the way to Spain, and I finished it halfway through my trip. So, back to the shit. Re-education through snap liftoff oversteer.
That's great.
With 200 to 250K in the pocket, would you go for a new ZR1 or a used 7 Series from McLaren? Used 7. If I could get into a 750 for 250, all day.
Yeah.
Extended warranty. ZR1s, I'm in at 100 next year because they will make too many. Okay, bald, bearded, and beautiful. I have a 718 GTS. What mods would you do while making it usable as a daily? Is doing the gear set worth it on its own? Would love the shorter gears, just scared of the price. Well, you should. The price is a lot. But
it's a lot. It's like 20 grand plus.
Yeah,
now.
but if you're keeping the car for a long time, it will really change it. It won't affect your reliability. It won't affect your ability to use it as a daily. It would only make the car better. They'd never even know with your warranty.
And you'd probably get back, and I know this is dangerous, you'd probably get back at least 50% of that mod on resale.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows it's awesome and it's a great thing to do, but the initial price is really high.
Yeah. If you pair that mod with a clean DME report on the back end, you're right. I bet you get half of it back.
That's so what you tell your partner, it's really just 10. It's not 20.
Yeah. And then while you're at it, if you're going to leave the engine stock, you can do the standard triple threat of the IPD plenum, the lightweight flywheel, and the catback exhaust, and you can have a pretty good time with that. That's a fun one. Bring back the crotch vent says, current trend in car design is boxy with the Santa Fe, Telluride, Grenadier, Defender, etc. In the past, after all the cars were boxy, we got blobby catfish era like the Taurus. I would call the Taurus more like tadpole than catfish. Would you call it a catfish?
Yeah. No, it was just like rounded stone. Everything was like a rock that had been in the river for 1,000 years.
River rock.
Yeah.
The Chrysler Concorde, I would say, that was more catfish.
Yeah.
Big mouth.
Sharper rear, big mouth, round front.
Big mouth.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll follow the same and bring back the blobjects?
I think fashion shows that it always goes in cycles. I think clothes move quicker, but I think people get bored of the blocky thing. Eventually we'll go back to like super aerodynamic. That would be justification for blobfish. Although I think they've figured out that the tail of the car is so important to how slippery it is. So they might have to keep a sharper edge back there.
I think I don't know actually how aerodynamic the blobfish cars were. I mean, they probably looked like they were at the time, and they did have wind tunnels, and they were testing aerodynamics. But were those as aerodynamic as cars ever got, and then we backed away from that for styling purposes, or are our quote boxy cars like an Ioniq 5 is boxy but pretty aerodynamic?
Well, let's see. So a 96 Taurus had a coefficient of drag of 0.30. Oh,
that's pretty good.
Which was down from 0.32 of the predecessor. And then, but amazingly, the 85 Taurus had a better coefficient of drag than 911s at the time.
You're talking about a G-body 911.
So an 86 Taurus was 0.32. So, in 9 years, they switched from blocks to blobs, and it only improved by 9%.
Yeah. What is a Hyundai Ioniq 5? Because the cars that this person mentioned are big SUVs.
Ioniq 5 is 0.288.
Yeah. So, just because something looks round does not make it aerodynamic at all. So I think in the search for ever more aerodynamic designs, we may get more sort of swept tail camback type things, but I'm not sure we're going back to the blobfish front ends. We'll see. Interesting, though. I mean, dude, if I'm totally honest, my Taycan isn't not blobfish. The front end of my Taycan is medium blobfish.
Well, they've got blob now, but with, there's some of those vertical elements next to the headlights, which adds a little bit of aggression into it. Because Taurus was full blob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. I had fun. Me and Larry Casilla stage rallied one of those blobfish Tauruses on an undeveloped Spring Island in 1997 when we first got licenses.
Nice.
It was a good time.
I warped the rotors on my friend Eric Jacoby's parents' car a couple of times. So did he. But that was a fast car back then, man.
Yeah.
You give that to 16-year-olds and we're like, what?
Yeah. HOA surveillance van has a GT4 with buckets. Just moved to Florida. I missed the canyon drives I had while living in Utah. No fucking shit. Beginning to search for a next fun car that's more suitable for my situation, i.e. driving 5 to 7 hours for a quarterly trip to the mountains. Is a 991.1 GT3 with 18 ways worth the $30K premium over the 981 GT4? No. No, it is not.
It won't change the rotor on.
No. Any other exciting car suggestions under $135,000 that won't depreciate rapidly and fit my use case? Oh, yeah, dude, you got a budget. Let's fucking go.
Dude, AMG GTs. Whichever, a GTC.
A GTC.
Sound, because in my opinion, Florida's very boring. So I want something that sounds good when I start it up, is exciting off the line, sounds rad, also looks cool. And then if you go to the Twisties 5 hours away, it'll also shine there. I'd go with something like that.
Sure. Or a very lightly used Carrera T with like that flat 6 kit.
That's true.
Dunzo.
Because then you could go to like the Cape Canaveral,
the runway
shit and have
shootouts
a
too.
good time.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do, Corvette Z06, slightly used, fucking maybe not even at this point. Slightly used Corvette Z06 would be perfect for that task. Any number. You don't need to go, if you have a GT4, you don't need to go to an old, a 10, 12-year-old GT3 to get an upgrade. You can get a GTS, like one of the turbo cars, like a 2019 GTS with a stick. It would rip, and it would be very comfortable to drive, on Florida roads every day.
I think they need to think about what do they want in a car experience now that the landscape has changed.
Yeah.
And then go from there,
Yeah. I mean, and quarterly trips to the canyons is great too, but like in between all that, you want something that's like that you want in Florida, which is, it's got to ride good, it's got to have good power because people drive fast as fuck on the highway there. And that comfort you're looking for. But there's I think you've instinctively discounted a lot of amazing 911s that aren't the GT3 because you're seeing that GT3 badge as being the upgrade from what you have. But I think there's other cars that'll work better. Donnie's Tire Swing says, we share a lot at my shop next door to a wait, hang on a minute. Sorry. Oh. Sorry, I appreciate you, but that is not a question that should have made it through
my bad.
Sorry. Jaguar Bus says, should Aston Martin build something like an LM002 or G-Wagen? No, and I'll tell you why. Because I like that Aston Martin is not a military contractor or trying to be one. I don't think they are anyway. Both the G-Wagen and the LM002 exist basically like because of military. That's not to say that like all military everywhere shouldn't have vehicles or something, but I don't think militaries need an Aston Martin. I miss when AI just meant to shop in Westchester. That's a fucking awesome username. Very much appreciated. And shout out to AI Design in Tuckahoe, New York. Okay, it's currently running a set of Continental Extreme Contact Sports that have 2020 date codes, but under 1,500 miles on them. Continental says on their website, replace tires at 10 years old. Most of their sources say 6 years. Car doesn't get driven much, but obviously when it does, it's spirited. They look new. They've been stored in a climate-controlled garage, but I understand rubber still ages. Should I be shopping for new rubber now? Look, I mean, I don't want to say if the car's really been stored indoors, climate controlled, and you touch the rubber and it feels like it's got some give to it, it's like you can feel when rubber gets really hard. You know, it's somewhere between 10 years is really for like. I don't know. It also depends where you live. Is it warm? Are you driving in the rain? Are you driving in the cold? Are you driving in the sun? If you're driving in the sun and it's warm and you're not pushing the limits of handling or anything like that, it's probably fine to go a little closer to the 10-year mark. If you're really, you said it's spirited, but if you're going out and it's cold or it's wet, then maybe you want to get a little closer to that 5-6 year mark. I don't want you to spend money unnecessarily. And if the car's been stored indoors and the rubber feels okay, you'll probably be fine. And it won't go from good to zero in a day. It'll gradually get harder and crappier.
Because if the car lived outside, especially in a place with high UV index like SoCal, Arizona, whatever, those tires are going to age much more quickly the way our skin would.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider too. But if you're in like Seattle, where it's moist and it's cloudy and it's stored inside, it'll probably last longer.
And look, if you get a chance, like when you're driving this car, when you find somewhere that's safe, test it. Do a panic stop. Do a full ABS stop. Do a full launch or a really hard acceleration in low gear. And you can see is this tire getting traction or is it not?
Right.
And you'll know. But the fact that you're thinking about it is good. Keep thinking about it. Observe and report. All right. Even Flowmaster. You both driven some high-dollar Resto mods. What would the first or most important upgrades be if one was to DIY their own? Let's say with a 944, for example.
Suspension, I think. And I'm getting rid of tires, of course, but I think high-dollar suspension can transform how a car feels more than almost anything. So that's where I would go.
I mean, here's the thing. High-dollar Resto mod is different from a DIY project because a Resto mod communicates a point of view of the person building it. The person building it says, at least someone, in my opinion, who's doing it with passion, like a Singer or a Gunther or a Revology or people that are doing this at a high level. They go, okay, I like the aesthetic of the original car and the spirit of the original car. Here's how I would for lack of a better word, reimagine that car today. And it's usually the completeness of package and the quality of the assembly of those parts. Like if you look at for instance, a Revology Mustang, and I say that because I'm looking at them in my shop every day because we manage their marketing fleet. If you look at it, like from 20 feet away, it just looks like a 68 Mustang with a nice paint job. And I go, it's got a brand new Mustang GT, and then you go, okay, it's $350,000. Oh my God! And then I go close the door, and it's like a brand new Mercedes, not like and you go, oh, so like if you were you essentially can't DIY that. I mean, you can if you're like Rod Emery,
right.
But like everyone else, if the question is just like, how do I upgrade my old car? The first way to do it, it's not glamorous, but is like put it as close to factory perfect as you can. Because like a lot of the time, like that's like if you get a 944, like all right, you get coilovers, but like what if you don't do all the bushings and all the other stuff? Like that's how you make it. Like with my Ferrari 328. I mean, I got to give Donnie fucking credit. When he did everything he did, it felt like I had a Resto mod. And all he did was put it back to how it was supposed to be. So your car might have 30 years of who knows what the fuck done to it or not done to it, and it might not be performing anywhere near its potential.
It's true.
So, like, that's where I'd start. And then when that's not enough, I go, okay, now I need more. But, like, you'd be shocked how well that 944 would handle with all new rubber, rebuilt or brand new Bilstein shocks, you know, and new tires, and the thing would probably handle awesome. Remember that fucking dude? I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but when we were up in the canyons in like an M6 or something, and this dude was like mobbing his 328 or his 308, like he was pushing like serious speeds in the corners, and I was like, wow. It was just put back to stock. It's like, oh yeah, these were fucking Ferraris when they were new. You know,
but all the rubber between where, like, you know, the tub and the unibody or whatever meets the suspension, if that has give, it's not letting the suspension do what it's supposed to do along the geometry the engineers designed it to do. So that's a good point. Start
motor
with
mounts,
every
trans mounts, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then even like weather stripping, like the way the doors will close and seal, like that shit's kind of expensive.
Yes.
But it's not hard to like put on. So like you could
some of it is.
Some of it could be. But like you could DIY it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had me at Helotus.
I like it.
I like that. How does a normal person go about finding a quality transporter at a good price? Well, look, we do that stuff at WCCS, so you can fucking email me or send me a DM and I can just do it for you if you want to do that. I mean, everyone else, like, cheap, fast, you know, good, right? So most people do not understand what it costs to get a reputable, legal, insured transporter to ship a car. It's the same as storage. Most people on the outside think that the service I provide should probably cost about half of what it actually costs. And that's just based on like vibes. Same thing for shipping. Like you see the sketchiest every time people, I quote them a price and they go, I'll handle it myself. 9 times out of 10, the truck that shows up that they've booked is far sketchier and lower quality than what I would have booked. Only maybe once was it above what I would have booked. And even then, I suspect if I had told them about the more expensive option, which I didn't do, that they probably would have just done it through me. But like, there's no such thing as cheap. I mean, you're going to get garbage. Like, you're going to get garbage.
Well, I mean, some of the problems that I've encountered, we used to ship cars for like TV stuff, is the truck will break down 4 states away and they have to send a different truck. Or the driver's communication skills are terrible.
Yeah.
Or the driver falls asleep. There's mechanical problems, driver problems, communication problems,
Weather
insurance problems, weather problems, damage problems when loading or unloading the car.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen at any price point due to negligence, but like, what you're paying for is to minimize how many of those issues will arise. So maybe talking to other people in your car community, that's probably a good way to start. Go to a car show or just DM people and say, who do you use? You know, if this guy's moving a car from Texas, but wherever you live, talk to the people that move cars.
If you see like big brand name trucks, reliable and horseless carriage and stuff, they're going to be premium.
Yep.
But you know, for a reason.
Yeah. People move Bugattis in the Reliant trucks like every year to Monterey. So there's a reason for that.
All the time. And so like in a best case scenario, car shipping sucks. Like it's tough. Like even with a very reputable company, like drivers will communicate poorly, their English won't be great, like they'll give you a window and then show up on the very, very edge of it, you know, like the cable guy or whatever. I can minimize that using a higher end transporter, can minimize that, and certainly if something gets damaged, which can happen at any level, the way that is followed up with and handled, it would be much better given a higher quality transporter. So I have a baseline that I'll work with. I have the regular tier, which is good, and then I have a great, and the great is probably 30% more expensive. But if the car is valuable enough or the customer is that obsessive about it, then we'll do it. But it's if you need me, I'll help you. It doesn't need to be to or from WCCS. We can do it. But it's if you shop by price, you fucking are getting what you're getting for sure. in seriousness, the more I've paid for a higher end company, the better service I've received. But it's usually a lot more money than people think it's going to be, which sort of sucks. I have to run. I'm sorry, but we are for the live audience. We're double headering today. We're back at 4 p.m. Pacific with Magnus. He's fucking unloading his collection, clearing out the goods, as it were. Wants to hawk that shit on our show, and I said, you know what, Magnus? That's okay. You can come hawk your shit on our show. As long as you allow me to hawk my shit on your show. He doesn't have a show. That's okay. So we'll talk to Magnus later this afternoon. And for those of you on the other end of this program that aren't listening live, that'll be on Thursday. And thanks everybody. Thanks for our patrons. We'll save your questions. We got questions. We'll get to them. Don't worry. Save them for next show. But this is my only business day in Los Angeles for 2 weeks. This past week and this next week, and even some of the following week. So, like, I have a lot of business to do today, including 2 podcasts. So, I'll see you next time. I will have dates for the Frozen Berry Notice Canyon release pretty soon. We'll see if we can get that red line set to where my car is. That's pretty cool. I like Zach's idea there. And we appreciate y'all. Thanks very much. See you later.